Tips for learning how to catch more waves during your surf session. So a lot of our subscribers have asked us how to catch more waves during their session, what they need to do, why they're not catching enough waves. So what I've decided to do is give you a couple tips of how to catch more waves, how to ensure that you get more waves in your surf session. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that you are not sitting too far out. If you're sitting further out than the wave's breaking, you're not going to get any waves. So remember, you're learning to surf, which means you can almost sit in the mid-break. You want to be catching the foamies. If you're at that level where you want to start catching the swells, make sure you're catching the small swells and not the bigger set waves, depending on the size of the conditions. So if you're catching the foamies, you're going to stay in the mid-break because you want the wave to break first, and then you're going to catch the foamy. Catch as many foamies as you can, even if it's too small. You're still going to practice paddling into the wave and jumping up. If you're catching the little swells, this is when I don't want you sitting too far out. So make sure you know where the wave's breaking. If you're surfing in a place where there's a pier or a buoy or a marker or something, you can get yourself a marker. So take note of where most of the waves are breaking, line yourself up, and then that's where you're going to sit. Then you know I'm sitting in the correct position and I'm going to have the most chance to catch as many waves as I can. The next thing you need to remember is to paddle as hard as you can when you're catching the wave. So 2 strokes is not going to cut it. You're not going to get onto the wave. Make sure you paddle as hard as you can, take numerous strokes until you feel your board getting shot forward. Most of the time, learners, when they're catching waves, they don't paddle hard enough to catch the wave. So they think they're on the wave, they stand up, they're off the back of the wave. So make sure the foamy is pushing you forward. You'll feel it. And it's going to maybe take you a couple of times to get used to that feeling of getting shot forward. So get shot forward, it's an increase in speed, that's when you know the wave's got me, and that's when you can practice standing up. Tip number 3, very importantly, don't get stuck in the rip. So know what a rip is, look for the rip, and don't fight the current. So you almost want to paddle with the rip to get you out, and you can paddle across. Same thing when you're paddling out, you need to paddle hard so that you don't get pulled back into a rip or get washed down. Surfing is all about paddling. The more you can paddle, the more fun you're going to have, and the more waves you're going to catch. Another little tip for you to remember is to make sure your nose is pointing towards the beach when you start to catch a wave. If you're slightly angled and you're catching a foamy, it's just going to topple your board over and that wave's going to be done, and then that's a wave wasted. So make sure your board is in the correct position for you to start. Make sure you are lying on your board in the correct position. So you've got to practice all those little tips that I've sent you videos on. Put them into use when you start catching waves. Go surfing with your buddy. It's more fun, it's safer, you can call each other onto waves, and often in a crowded lineup, if you're surfing with someone, you generally get more waves because people don't want to interact with there's a group of people, so they might think you've got 1 or 2 friends out there and they by themselves, so they're not going to hustle you for waves. So go surfing with your buddy. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more videos.